some people who I consider to be very, very great minds and young people. I consider them to be thinkers and very creative. Some of the things they say and do provoke a lot of thought. So I'd like to introduce Life's Tangible. Start with people.
So, Roderick, what is scattered thoughts? Like, what does it mean when you say scattered thoughts?
Okay. Um, so like in the rap world, they have what you would call a freestyle, and that's when the artist sits there and he's kind of listening to a certain beat, and he'll just be going and just start taking off, saying whatever comes to mind like instantaneously. So when I do my scattered thoughts, it's pretty much just freestyle poetry. I look at the paper or my phone, modern day, and I just get to writing whatever comes to my mind. It's like the poetry just writes itself, and it's literally like my own scattered thoughts. It's like whatever weight I'm going through at that time, or whatever is just in me to come out, it just spills all out on the paper, and then it's just over when it's over. So yeah, that's scattered thoughts.
I had written 56 scattered thoughts before this, but they were too personal to share, so 57 is where you'll get a glimpse. Sometimes I wish I could rap because I'm not the best singer, but I'm an amazing writer. I have faith in these fingers. I got problems from childhood that tend to always linger. I grew up way too fast, and I think I self actualized as a senior. That means I knew all of me and how I would be back in high school, determined to make it at all costs and never be made life's fool. I love to be liked, yet I don't care about hurting feelings. I love to reach new heights, yet I am my own ceiling. Nobody ever stops me but me, yet I've been stuck for a while. I'm the tormentor of my own thoughts, yet you never see that through my smile. When it comes to my relationships, I want to treat everybody right. But you see, me and my mama just fixed ours, and even that took several nights. More than several fights, bigger than a family feud, an ongoing war that took years out of my life, a catastrophic collision, and yet there were only two. That's me and my mother's story. Made it back to love, to God be the glory. My emotions, my fears, and my passions are all the same. Each one of them would cost my life. Each one of them would cost me pain. My emotions, if I allow myself to feel. My fears, if I allow them to become real. My passions, if I don't obtain them, then I can't deal. Working so hard to shape my future so I can control what it reveals. I want to leave a legacy behind me when I die. On my list of top 10 things to do, that's number 9. But will my children cherish me and love? The only father I ever knew was the father up above. And that's no shame to my daddy, because I love that man. He makes up my DNA. Yet with no bars to bind him and no grave to hold him down, why was he so far away? Now I question my identity every day. Now I wonder if I can be a dad someday. Because I have no guide. And yet I still don't want to be the opposite of my father, because he's a man that I idolize. I walk like him. I talk like him. And because of his genes, my greatest attribute is my charm. Who would have known that it would have caused less good and more harm? Because we both know how to be a good time, but we don't know how to spend it. We both know how to create a fantasy and yet be the reason why the dream ended. Want to make everyone smile and yet leave so many offended. Two misunderstood men with the same blood, yet nobody cares to listen. Does that sound like daddy issues? Do I still have issues with my mom too? What else is there left for me to do? Somehow I've got all the answers, and at the same time I haven't got a clue. Oh well, I still got to keep moving because I want to be successful. So back to the grind, got to make the world see me shine. That's why I only spend my time concerning my time. You get it? I only spend my time concerning my time. If it doesn't benefit me, then it's a waste. The world around me tells me I'm coming from a real selfish place. In reality, I'm just afraid to become another statistic, to have never made it out of my city and be dependent on government assistance. Hard times happen, but shouldn't last forever. I've been evicted from every home I've ever known. Now I'm old enough to maintain my own shelter, and I never want to go back to the days of old. But I'm not trying to settle for just getting by. Call me George Jefferson, I want that great big apartment in the sky. A penthouse suite with all black hardwood floors, an Aston Martin parked outside with suicide doors. It's not the material things that matter. It's the fact that I climbed the ladder. Now I have possessions that the common man chases after. Once I was poor, now I am rich, and I'll always continue to be the latter. In my character too, because my mind is enlightened. Tell me, what would you do if you were no longer frightened by the things you didn't know, or the people you never met, or the outcome of life, even more so the outcome of death? So I think I made it before I even made it. Yeah, I think I made it before I even made it. Any scenario thrown at me in life, I can take it. Any round table discussion I can be a part of, yeah, I can fake it. So I think I'm ready for fame before I'm famous. I wonder, is fame ready for me? Yeah, that question is dangerous. Scattered thoughts depicted on paper, you would think it was aimless. Scattered thoughts depicted through my actions, you would think I was brainless. Scattered thoughts depicted through my music, you would think I was a genius. Scattered thoughts depicted through my words, and you wouldn't even believe it.
My worship is for real, but because of my past, you say it isn't. I continuously say I'm healed, but I get backlash to keep me hindered. What is it about my praise that makes you uncomfortable? What is it about my past that you can't stumble through? Do you not think I'm worthy of a change? Do I not deserve elevation? Should I just remain the same? This is something that's been heavy on my brain. I mean, why was it a crime the day I decided to get saved? Well, I should be stuck in my ways and damn my soul for the rest of my days. My past, my past, my past. Everybody loves to talk on it. My mistakes, mishaps, and sins. Everybody loves to ponder on it. I wish people would leave me alone, but they love to point out my faults. That was more than 5 years ago. Why is this even a recent thought? People who knew me when my wounds were bleeding and crying out for help always claim to be the ones that know everything about me, but I didn't even know myself. I thought I was the coolest kid out here, partying hard, blowing trees, showing up to school high, laughing when people told me they could smell my weed. I was gone almost every single day. Didn't even think I was bugging. Till I tried to remember my senior year in high school, and I realized I couldn't even remember nothing. I couldn't blame the crowd I was hanging around. I was just trying to fit in. I tried doing everything I could just be part of the cool kids. I was easily influenced. I fell victim to a lot of things just to be part of a squad. But I always felt like something was missing. I mean, my life was a facade. So many times I've tried to find what I was missing in other people. So many times I knew that I was wrong, but I just wanted my life to be peaceful. I dated other girls. I made them fall in love with me. Not because I was happy living this life, but because it was easy. But I was never comfortable labeling myself as a lesbian or gay. It didn't feel right coming from my lips, but this was my day-to-day. I was in many relationships with other females. I thought this was my end. It never even occurred to me that I wasn't happy because I was living a life of sin. I did this in the dark because I felt in my heart what I was doing wasn't right. But I had no idea what to do to even start to change my life. I was living in confusion. Every day I felt lost. I just wanted to find my way out before my life paid the cost. Every day I felt convicted, and I couldn't even understand why. I couldn't understand how every day I felt released thinking, what if I just die? But I know that wasn't the way out because I pondered on death before. I just knew there had to be a better plan than to knock on hell's door. So I prayed. I wasn't good at it, but I prayed and I called on Jesus. He knew the desire of my heart. He knew I wanted my life to change for the right reasons. It was a struggle trying to leave my past for a new life. Every day I wanted to give up, but I knew I would find this wholeness in Christ. And I did. And every time I think about everything he has brought me through, I can't help but to give him praise. I can't help but to lift my hands, open my mouth, and call on his name. I no longer have shame, and I no longer have doubt. And I know I went through this so I can help bring somebody else out. Now that I have this relationship with God, I realize that the devil tried to take me out because of the things that I would do one day. He didn't want me to have a platform to let young kids know that it would be okay. To the people who did not know this about me, I guess you can call this my testimony. God told me it's time to speak my truth. and know that he gets the glory. So when I get those side eyes and get told, I know her past, well, good, I'm glad. Now I can tell what God has brought me through, and on his name I can brag.